Namaste and welcome. It is my pleasure today to introduce a wonderful entrepreneur all the way from Atlanta to our New England Lokvani audience. Sanjay Sehgal ji, who joins me today, is a founder, chairman, and CEO of a leading multinational company called MSys Technologies. He is a multi-talented individual known for his multi-dimensional roles, whether that be as a technology entrepreneur, global businessman, philanthropist, and so many things. But most importantly, here today, he joins us to talk about his journey in his path with the Heartfulness movement, which he joined in the 90s. And that has been very important to bring about an inner transformation in Sanjayji. Today, he is here to talk about a book called The Spiritual Anatomy, written by Kamlesh Patel ji, who is known in the Heartfulness movement as the revered Daaji. Welcome to Lokvani, Sanjay ji. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me, Ashwin.
Pleasure. So, could you tell us a little bit about this book, Spiritual Anatomy, which has just recently been released?
Sure. Yeah. First of all, let me show for your viewers. This is the book, and I hope the image will coming. I think here it is showing a little bit reflection of it, but it's a wonderful book. Its book has was released about 10 days ago, and it has already reached #1 in USA Today. The mind, body, spirit category, and that is very excited about that. In this book, Daaji has revealed all the wisdom that he had gained through his experiences, in his about 47-year journey, spiritual journey, with two masters that he had been associated with. Daaji is the fourth in the lineage of our masters in Heartfulness movement, and he had fortune of being associated closely with two of them. And so all the things that he had learned through that journey, he had covered in this. This has, usually in yoga, we talk about 7 chakras, right? But we all know we have several or lot more emotions and lot more variations in our own self, right? So in this, he covers the journey of the spirit, journey of the soul through 16 chakras.
Interesting.
And I think that is very unique because till now, nobody has. I mean, everybody, of course, the Yoga Sutras were written 5,000 years ago, and they talked about 7 chakras, and everybody talks about those. But in our life, from morning till evening, we go through so many emotions.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we all know how those emotions affect us physically.
Yeah.
But the root cause of all the physical symptoms that we feel come from the spiritual system.
Wow.
The spiritual system doesn't exist in physical form. It is part of our consciousness. Or some people, as some wise people say that this is like the junction point between biology and consciousness.
Wow.
Or physiology and consciousness.
Yeah.
That's where the chakras or the spiritual points are. Yeah. And so in this, he talks about how you can know which emotion is coming from which point or chakra within your spiritual system. So having known it, you can also alter it.
Wow.
So suppose I get angry a lot now. How do I make sure that that anger is refined? I'm not saying totally gone away, because some anger is needed, for our existence. Same way, some passion is needed. But suppose I'm passionate about every single thing, and I'm, the most passionate person is a gambler who sits and spends millions of dollars in Las Vegas. Very passionate about gambling.
Sure.
Here, till I win, I'm not going to leave it. Right?
Sure.
Now, that's also passion. But how much passion to get, right?
Yes.
But some people are fearful, right?
Yes.
Now, some fear is needed. You don't want to be like our Mr., if I may say, Mr. Trump, so fearless that you can just say anything.
Right.
So refining all these emotions is what our life is about, what our spiritual journey is about. And that is very well covered. This book also has some nice stories to explain those, that journey. And then also it talks about various self-reflection practices that one can do on their own as part of the process.
That's beautiful. So you are saying, if I understand you correctly, like, this idea of the Sukshma Sharir and the Sthula Sharir, that
Yes,
which is, what manifested the body, but the Sukshma, that which you don't see, but it is actually controlling your life. And by making sure, just like your external health is healthy, which we do with yogic practices, it's as important to alter and keep track of that Sukshma Sharir so that the chakras are also in balance, so that you can actually make a difference and live a happy life. I saw this comment of Dr. Deepak Chopra for the book, which says Spiritual Anatomy is an exceptional book that blends the wisdom of yogic philosophy with practical techniques to unlock your infinite potential. So that sounds like amazing. So you are telling me that there are actually very practical, simple ways that we can, do something to alter these chakras. Is that right?
that's right. I mean, first you have to know where those chakras are.
Hmm.
Then you can obviously, through simple practices, you can alter them.
Alter them.
Alter
And
them,
if
not
I
just.
remember, Heartfulness, I think the original name was Sahaj Marg, right? It
That's
was
right. That's right.
simple.
Yes, simple. So you see, this system has been around for 77 years
Uh-huh.
in its present form. And prior to that, of course, there were several masters who had guided it, to when it came in 1945, when the organization, our parent organization was called Sri Ramchandra Mission. And, it was founded in India, in Shah Jahanpur, in the city of Shah Jahanpur, by our founding master. And since then, this journey, I mean, he used to teach people, whoever would come to him. He was man of limited means. In Shah Jahanpur was a village in, prior to, even now it is not a very advanced city or
Yeah.
anything like that. And from, he used to just sit outside his house in a charpoy and a cot, like how, if you remember, in our
Yeah.
olden days, that's what many of us also did outside the house. We sit in a charpoy, and he was
Yeah.
man of God. He would just do and transmit from there. From there, now the lineage of masters, and where we have come, our current headquarters is in Hyderabad, which also has the world's largest meditation center. So I like to say the journey of Sahaj Marg or Heartfulness movement has been journey like that. From the cot simple charpoy in Shah Jahanpur, streets of Shah Jahanpur, to the world's largest meditation center. And we
Yeah.
have millions of practitioners worldwide. And we're not a social media campaign or a PR campaign. It's a simple practice that people do at home. That's why many people have not heard about us as much as, let's say, they may have heard about something else.
Yeah.
But it is a very potent practice, which is why the practitioners, they get hooked to it. They go so deep in it. There are families and people do it for generations. Now people, I mean, in my own case, I was a first generation practitioner. I have been doing it personally for about 32 years. And now in my family, we have 4 trainers: my
Wow.
mother, father, my brother, sister, everybody, and my own son and my daughter-in-law. They're both trainers.
Wow.
So it is like something, because they have found, we have never asked them to do it, but
Yeah.
they found usefulness. They found how it has helped them to lead a better life.
And what I hear that even today, it's the trainers offer the course for free. Is
Yes,
that
yes.
correct? It's completely free to take the course, and it just it's volunteer based and all of that. Is that correct? Am I
Very
understanding?
nicely. I'm glad you brought it up, because that's, I think, a very unique thing, that in our system, every trainer and every volunteer has a balanced life. I mean, they are grastas. And if we had swamis and people like me who have been doing it for 32 years, we would be sitting here in that garb. But I manage my business, I take care of my family, while I also do the volunteer work that I have been tasked to do for this.
Yeah.
All of our volunteers or volunteers, and they have other means to support them. And so they have vested interest in the spiritual growth, rather than any financial return that they may be getting out of this, right?
Right, right. So they are motivated by the fact that, not only they would like to unlock their infinite potential, but also the world around, the people of the world itself. Is that the goal, or is it maybe
Absolutely.
raising the
That is
consciousness?
precisely the goal. They are motivated by how, there are two ways we talk about the service aspect. One is, of course, that when the service that mother provides to a child, right? What is she going to get out of return, right? In return from that, right? And who knows, the child grows up and curses the mother later on or something like that. It also we've heard cases like
Sure.
that. So
Yeah.
here they have vested interest in the spiritual growth, in that of the person, of the aspirant. Other aspect of service is, we say, service without servility. That's a
Mm.
very unique concept in this, without the idea of service.
Yeah.
You are not the person you think you are serving, is not the person who is being served. You are actually serving the higher power.
Beautiful.
Higher power has tasked you, or the master has tasked you
Yeah.
with this task, given you this task of enabling others on their spiritual journey. So by enabling others, you are serving
Yeah.
the higher power.
Do you believe that you need to have some Purva Janma karma to be able to come into the path? Or like, do you think it's easy to bring it to the world at large? Because when we see around, fires are burning, in so many places. And, what can we do to bring peace? Because I assume that's the goal of the movement.
Yes, see, strongly we believe that the world peace, or the peace in society or things around us, can only come through individual peace. See, I can only work on myself,
Mm.
right? If through my interactions with me, if I can bring about a peace in someone else's heart, and that's how it will work, that's how it will spread. And it is, to your question of Purva Janma, though, I mean, Purva Janmas always play a strong part in our journey. I mean, journey that we would have undertaken in previous life would have enabled us to, move faster, or start from where we left off rather than starting from the beginning. But
Thank
many of us, I personally believe that when I started, I had no inclination of doing meditation. I
you.
just stumbled upon it. I just
Wonderful.
stumbled upon it. Someone in my office used to do it. I like to give this example that sometimes you're thirsty, you're looking for water.
Yeah.
Sometimes if somebody gives you water, you say, "Man, this is what I needed."
Need it. You
So
don't
for me,
even know.
I didn't even know. So for me, I just stumbled upon it. I started doing it. My parents, everybody said, "Okay, one of the fads, young guy." I was a young boy of 20 years old. You
Yeah.
know, they say that, okay, जवान लड़का है, कुछ करेगा 3 महीना,
Correct.
उसके बाद छोड़ देगा.
Yeah,
After
yeah,
that,
yeah.
leave it. But that day and today, I continue to do it, and I would have taught personally as a trainer and through association. With me, so many people would have started this, and I feel that's how every single person, each one of us, has ability to influence so many people.
Mm.
Now I know task seems very big, but everything
Yeah.
starts with one.
Absolutely. Boon boon se sagar banti hai, for sure. That's absolutely the truth. So I wanted to ask you also that could you tell us a little bit about the person who actually wrote this book, Kamlesh Patel ji, who you call as the revered Daaji?
Sure. See, as I said earlier, he is the fourth in the lineage of masters in the Sahaj Marg tradition, and which he started guiding all of us, all the heartfulness practitioners, in the year 2014, when our previous master, his name was Shri Partha Sarthi Rajgopalachari ji from Chennai. He was a resident of Chennai, and when he took Mahasamadhi, he had nominated Daji. And since then, Daji has been traveling all over the world. He has been teaching. He is the one responsible for, building that largest meditation center, and 1,400-acre campus in outside of Hyderabad. That's where our headquarters is now. The barren land that he converted into oasis of peace. We call it Kanha Shanti Vannam, forest of peace. We planted close to 1 million trees. There was no water there in the beginning, and now there are like so many water bodies, and which are feeding not only human beings but also the plants and all other
Yeah.
life forms. So he put all his wisdom into this book. He started meditation when he was in college. He went to pharmacy college in Ahmedabad, LMCP Pharmacy College in Ahmedabad, that's where he came across. He was a person who always, right from his childhood, had been influenced by the teachings of Swami Ramakrishna Paramahansa. And he always considered him as his guru till he met, the Babuji, the founding master of Sahaj Mark system during his college days when he was 17 years old. So he formally has been doing this practice since then. During the journey, he also came to US. He spent good bit of his life in US. He in New York. He was a resident of New York. He had business of pharmacies. He had many independent pharmacies and pharmacy distribution business. Which after he was nominated as the master of this system, he transferred everything over to his sons, and they manage it now. And he spends all his time with his with his children and he has 4 grandchildren, his wife, and he lives in Hyderabad, and he spends his all his time in this now.
Wow, what an inspiration that. And I think at the core, whether it is you or of course Daaji, it sounds like, you don't have to step out of life to be this, but it just makes the catalyst, it serves as a catalyst to make a better life for you. So, and it's very interesting. You're also a successful entrepreneur. Daaji also was is an entrepreneur, was an entrepreneur. And it sounds like those for young people who are starting out their life, what advice would you have? It sounds like if they start young, it might make them more successful in what they do. Am I right about this?
Yeah, absolutely. Daaji, I'll just repeat what Daaji says about this. Daaji said he was 17 years old when he started.
Yeah.
And I was 23 years old when I started. So you can say someone like Daaji who finished his studies and he continued to do this meditation practice. It helped him in his studies. Later on, it helped him in his business. He said even his business principles were driven by what he learned through meditation.
Wow.
So meditation always was. It's not that sitting in a counter in a pharmacy you're meditating. No. But in the back of your mind, the values, the experiences, they teach you something, and that's how you behave with others. That's how you spread, peacefulness to everyone around you. Right. While doing your job.
Yes. And that's I think that I always feel this, right? Goodness is valued because it's actually useful for the business of life, I think.
Yes.
It makes the bottom line of life go much better, I think. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so valued, I think, So, but now I will ask you, are there some practical tips that you would like to share? How many minutes a day does it take to do this meditation? Could you tell us a little bit about the nitty-gritty of what Heartfulness is about?
Sure. So Heartfulness has 3 practices that we suggest. One do. Easiest is that you download a Heartfulness app. It's available in about 14 languages, including about 10 Indian languages and Spanish and French and all that. It's available in all those languages. You download that. It has guided practices. And through that, you can also be in touch with one of our trainers, right? So ideal thing is that you take sessions with trainers on 3 consecutive days. And in that, they will teach you 3 practices. One is meditation that you're supposed to do every day morning.
For how long?
20 to 30 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
20 to 30 minutes. And then in the evening, we have a practice called cleansing that you do for 10 to 15 minutes. And nighttime prayer meditation, that is, I would say, 2 to 5 minutes as you sleep. So as to make your sleep meditative, rather than, sleeping with the worries of the day or the daytime or of tomorrow, you're sleeping with a nice meditative thought. And you sleep like a baby, and next day morning you get up and you, of course, first thing in the morning, you meditate for 20 minutes. Now, app also has guided practices, and it makes it easier. Everybody has a phone these days. They say 8 billion people having 9 billion phones. You may have heard that, right?
Yes.
So everybody has at least one, if not 2.
Yes.
Right.
Surely, Sanjay. So, that's fantastic. So that's great. So to get started, I think an app is a good idea because it doesn't, people can start thinking about it, and then instead of committing the 3 days right away to, if they don't feel. But if you find a trainer, I think there's nothing like having it an in-person, thing, and it's free. So I think that's fantastic.
Trainers are there. We have about 700 trainers. In US. and about 16,000 worldwide.
And do you have trainers in New England? We have in
Of course,
Massachusetts.
we have about almost, I think, 15 to 20 trainers in New England.
Fantastic, fantastic. So we can locate them for our New England audience. We can certainly do that. Would you like to, conclude this with, say, some readings from the book or
Sure,
anything that
absolutely.
you
I
would
would
like
love
to
to.
share with
I
us?
think there is my favorite paragraph.
Yeah.
This is a book. First of all, I'll show again. And this says spiritual anatomy, meditation, chakras, and the journey to the center. And the book, its table of content is organized in 3 different headings: read and enjoy, do and feel, meditate and transcend.
Wow.
Right. So I think that's kind of. So I'll just read 2 paragraphs. It says spiritual anatomy is a comprehensive collection of spiritual research on the soul's anatomy and journey. The journey commences from the heart, the pulsing center that unlocks the portals of growth and enlightenment. The heart is the inner guide, the real guru on the journey to the absolute. We are all connected intellectually, morally, and spiritually through the invisible connection of our hearts, weaving us all into a common grand destiny. The road to that destiny is paved by the pioneers, hidden in plain sight, even from their own discerning minds. The pioneers are catalysts of change. Their silent acts of self transformation will bring about a tripping point of consciousness that will change the future of humanity. Together, their hearts beating as one will advance the way of love that will elevate the human condition from belligerent rhetoric, growing intolerance, and rising inequity. These pioneers represent the tip of the arrow in the silent revolution of consciousness. And today, I introduce you to one of them, you.
Oh my goodness, how beautiful. I mean, I think that last sentence itself, I think hits home for all of us, as we see around us, all the intolerance, the inequalities, So to say that by transforming ourselves, we can become that center of change is a very empowering thought. So I can see why this book has become #1 on the USA Today, bestseller. And I think definitely, I think it's a must-buy book for all of us. And I need to go ahead and get my copy as well and look forward to that. And so Sanjayji, any final other comments for our viewers here?
No, I think I think I've said it all. I'll just say that I think if you all can read this book, and even if 10% of the things that this book shares, you apply, the purpose of this book would be served.
And where would we buy this book?
This book is available in Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target.com, Walmart.com,
Okay.
Walmart.com,
So,
booksamillion.com, all the online and bookstores. Several bookstores also carry this book.
fantastic. We'll just put the Amazon link with that, or maybe a
Yes,
couple of links you can send me. We can put that in. So thank you, Sanjayji. Really, it's been inspirational to talk to you and to find, I mean, somebody who is actually practicing something that, you're not just a preacher, but you're a practitioner. And to see that, this technique has really made you, successful both in the outer world and in the inner world. You are at peace while at the same time doing a lot of good through your other karmas, that is making a difference. And to know that people around you are taking on this technique, not because you ask them, but because they see the impact that it has on you. So I can surely see the importance of people getting this book, and God willing, if they are blessed, they can find a trainer. And I hope at least a few people's life will be altered, starting today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji.